Hello, kind people. A fleet of giant UFOs near the moon. Astronomers claim the objects reach 40 kilometers. More than 20 nearly invisible objects have been filmed passing in front of the moon at enormous speed. Ukrainian researchers suggest that the observations may reveal a technological presence near Earth's natural satellite. Ukrainian astronomers reported one of the boldest and most controversial findings in modern research into unidentified anomalous phenomena. During observations of the moon in 2025, they recorded more than 20 unknown objects, some of which, according to their calculations, reached sizes comparable to those of a large city. The objects did not merely appear enormous. Some of them were moving at several kilometers per second, changing their brightness in a repeating rhythm, and were almost indistinguishable from the lunar surface. The researchers even raised the question of whether the moon might serve as a base for an unknown technologically advanced civilization. The claims are presented in an unreviewed scientific manuscript entitled UFO Dynamics on the Moon, prepared by Boris Juleev, Vladimir Petakov, and Sergei Pokovala from the main astronomical observatory of the National Academy of Sciences of Ukraine. More than 20 objects appear in front of the lunar disk. The observations were made with a telescope in the village of Vinarivka, located in the southern part of Kiev Oblast. A high-speed camera capable of recording 20 frames per second was connected to the telescope. It was precisely this frame rate that allowed the team to notice the fleeting dark structures, which could easily have remained undetected during standard observations. In the video recordings, the scientists counted more than 20 objects passing in front of or in the immediate vicinity of the moon. They were so faint that some appeared as spots only a few pixels in size. After processing the frames, the researchers divided the observed anomalies into two provisional categories: atmospheric and continental. These designations do not necessarily mean that the first group is located in Earth's atmosphere, but rather describe how the objects appeared in the images. Stationary objects pulsing in synchrony, the so-called atmospheric UFOs, remained almost stationary relative to the moon and moved together with its image in the frame. According to the authors, this created the impression that the objects were anchored at a particular position near the lunar surface. They emitted or reflected brief light pulses lasting between 100 and 500 milliseconds. The changes in brightness repeated at frequencies of several hertz, with the scientists detecting distinct peaks at 2, 4, 6, and 8 hertz. Even more unusual was the apparent synchronization of these pulses. Two objects that, according to the calculations, were tens of kilometers apart changed their brightness simultaneously. In another series of frames, a similar coincidence was recorded between three moving objects separated by a considerably greater distance. The authors regard this behavior as a possible indication of coordination. However, synchronization itself does not reveal what caused it. Communication, a common external light source, image processing, or some other unknown factor. Disks and rings the size of cities. The second category was given the name continental objects because the anomalies appeared as though they were passing directly over the lunar surface. After digital reconstruction, Some of them took on a disc-shaped or toroidal form, resembling a huge dark ring. In different versions of the analysis, their sizes were calculated to be between 14 and 40 kilometers. One of the presumed toroidal objects had a diameter of approximately 36 kilometers and completed a full rotation in about 3 minutes. The speeds of the moving structures were estimated at between 6 and 11 kilometers per second, while an earlier analysis by the same team indicated values reaching approximately 20 kilometers per second. If these estimates are correct, the observed objects do not resemble known human spacecraft. They would be larger than many cities on Earth and would cross the distance between the Moon and Earth in a relatively short period of time. Almost the same color as the Moon, according to the study. The anomalies are extremely difficult to detect because their color and brightness almost match those of the lunar surface. The contrast of one of the recorded objects was only about 3%, making it appear as a faint dark spot against the background. The calculated albedo, the ability of a surface to reflect light, was approximately 0.029. This means that the presumed object reflected less light than the Moon itself and appeared unusually dark. It is precisely this characteristic that led the authors to use the word camouflaged. According to them, the objects may remain undetected because they visually blend into the lunar background and are revealed only through high-speed recording and subsequent computer processing. Does the Moon really conceal an unknown base? The boldest conclusion in the manuscript is the suggestion that the Moon may serve as a base for the unknown objects. The authors connect their presumed enormous sizes, high speeds, variable brightness, and apparent synchronization with possible technological behavior. They go even further in claiming that the objects could reach Earth in about 20 minutes and subsequently manifest themselves in the atmosphere as the UFO observed around the world. This is an extraordinary claim that, for now, is based on small and faint structures in images. The study does not present directly photographed structures on the Moon, nor does it establish the origin of the objects. It shows anomalies that the authors interpret as enormous bodies near the lunar surface. One missing measurement could change everything. The greatest unknown is the actual distance to the recorded structures. Their sizes and speeds were calculated under the assumption that the objects are located on or near the Moon. If, however, they are much closer to the Earth-based telescope, their actual dimensions would be incomparably smaller. Harvard astronomer A.V. Loeb points to precisely this problem in his analysis of the controversial study. According to him, observations from only one telescope do not allow the distance to be determined and cannot convincingly rule out objects in Earth's atmosphere, satellites, birds, or optical disturbances. To establish whether the anomalies are actually located near the Moon, synchronized observations from at least 2 distant observatories are required. Through parallax, scientists could determine the approximate distance and only then reliably calculate the object's size and speed. Between a scientific anomaly and a monumental discovery, the presented footage is not sufficient to prove the existence of giant spacecraft or a secret lunar base. However, it raises a specific and testable question. what exactly passed in front of the cameras of the Ukrainian astronomers. The next decisive step is the publication of the complete unprocessed recordings, calibration data, and the method used for digital reconstruction, followed by independent observations with several telescopes. If similar objects are simultaneously recorded from different locations on Earth and genuinely turn out to be near the Moon, this would transform the controversial manuscript into one of the most significant astronomical discoveries in history. Until then, the more than 20 dark structures remain what the cameras captured, unexplained images hidden in the light of the Moon, whose true size and origin have yet to be established.